hopefully. Come on. Alright, so I'm going. Alright. Oh, actually, I wanted to go back there. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how I got KDE 3 to work after I upgraded OpenSuSE 13.2 to 42.1, the Leap series. And it has something to do with what you'll find out is OpenSuSE has supported for a very long time the KDE 3 desktop, which is my favorite desktop here. And I wanted to still be able to use it. And what ended up happening is I probably won't be able to show it. After I did the zipper dupe upgrade, which you just go into the shell, go into its root. You can just, all you gotta do is type zipper dupe. Now let's type it. And I'll get out of that. But if I could type. This does a distribution upgrade. In fact, I am due for one, which is a whole different subject. You have to update the repositories, but it would still say, hey, we want to do all this stuff. And usually when you do this, there's like thousands of, in fact, not that it's important. There's probably like 5,000 packages to install. Go into details here. So, it upgraded my KDE 3, and then okay, well, let's see what happens after I reboot. I'm going to get out of this thing. Reboot, and there were basically two of these taskbars. And one looked like the new KDE 5 Plasma, and it does install KDE 5 Plasma by default. And and the reason why I'm doing this is it's going to stream over to YouTube and get saved. So oh, great. So the first thing I did is I got rid of that lower taskbar. And then once I did that, none of the icons I clicked on would respond, and I like icons. Oh, they got rid of my FileZilla on the app. Okay. Well then. I'm going to install that as we go. So over to the right. So I had to figure out what was going on. I haven't used this in years. Great. Problem with, okay, where do we get this? Casablanca. Do I want to use that? It's not going to tell me what version this is. Yeah. Anyway, I'll look for FileZilla later. I'd rather use FileZilla. Anyway, so I looked on the mailing list. There's a mailing list for KDE 3 and OpenSuSE, and there were people discussing this, and there was a thread at the OpenSuSE forums. There's a few dinosaurs, such as myself, that want to use KDE 3. I think it's the best one yet. They don't need to do anything. They don't need to change anything. Pretty much when a new version of Qt comes out, they decide to build another desktop, and they just abandon the one from before. 4 is abandoned, and they told everybody to set aside 3 for 4, and now 5's there. And 5, it's pretty good. But I like the way this works better, and I like the way it looks better, just a little better. I like clicking on icons. I don't have to, wrestle with the operating system just to be able to put an icon on my desktop. And so far, this is my casualty of the upgrade. But I may find more, and I'll have to deal with different issues that come up. But this was a major one. So, looking on the list, I said, well, just go into there's a a file in SUSE that'll go to. But you have to do this anyway. I'm rolling as root, so you have to go to etc. and then system config. A lot of settings, and aha, see, there they are. They're edited. So you have to change the display manager to say you want to use KDM3. You have to change your window manager and you have to say something similar to that. Let's see, default window manager is KDE instead of Plasma Desktop, as they pasted on there. This is a system-wide setting. You could change this, and you might even be able to change this with YAST, which is their configuration tool. The one thing you cannot change with YAST is the fact that, okay, so well, we'll get to it. So I saw there was a bar, you know, the second bar here, and I closed it, and then I'd right-click on the desktop, and I'd get these damn KDE Plasma options, you know, run a command, or, you know. I still find it a bit goofy the way they have it set up, because this makes sense to me. You know, other people are going to say this is goofy, you know, whatever. I realized there's something related to Plasma that's still running. So there's a command called lsof, and there may still be actually some Plasma stuff running. And I'll tell you basically everything that's running in your system. I mean everything. There's like a ton of stuff. So to narrow it down, you just pipe the output to grep, and then you type the thing you're looking for, which is Plasma or something like that. And there's still some stuff coming up here. But when I looked, I noticed there was something called Plasmashell. Okay. And I mean, they were talking about this earlier on the KDE 3 list over there, but they weren't really, they kind of hadn't told. There was one person that really wanted to use KDE and ended up using the Trinity desktop, which is good. I'm glad that they have Trinity desktop there and someone's developing it and all that. But the person was saying, well, it doesn't have the SUSE branding and all this stuff. So, you know, they wanted to have the solution that I have here. So I wanted to share it in case anybody else did that. I tried to post my solution to the mailing list, but because I used the word crap, which I know, you know, I don't think, well, being sarcastic here, you know, Linus Torvalds has never used that, of course. Just basically, I'll show you where I put my file, basically. You'll see where I used the word crap, and the rest was good information for the list they've been looking for. And then on the forums for SUSE, they were where my word crap is starred out. So crap, you know. Anyway, it's really, you know, it's crap. There's just one thing that was screwing things up. And so anyway, I went to the etc. So I found Plasmashell was running. And I don't need Plasmashell running because I'm running KDE3. Plasmashell goes with what I'll call KDE5, you know. They just call KDE Plasma. I wonder what they're going to do when 6 comes out. Qt6 comes out. Anyway, so I went over to the etc. directory, which is basically, I don't know if I need to be root for this or not. I probably need to. See the contents of files, and I'm so coordinated. I hate this keyboard. So I went over the etc. directory, and I decided to again search for, I used grep to search for the word Plasmashell. But this time use grep -r, and I just did Plasmashell because it was running, right? Some something was causing it to run at startup, and typically anything that would do that would be an etc directory. And I found it, but it was under xgg autostart plasmashell.desktop. The answer is to move that somewhere or to delete it, but for KDE3, the problem is it will completely hose up your KDE5 or Plasma, if you want to use that. You won't be able to use it if you remove this. You'll have a broken KDE5. But what they did, let me show you here, in their design. So there's settings for XGG, and apparently SUSE uses XGG. Despite the fact that, so there's a display manager, there's a window manager, then there's something called XGG, which does something different. And here under AutoStart, this is all these services are coming up. For example, Nautilus. I don't want to use Nautilus necessarily. Like when I download something in Firefox and I want to see the location of the file, I usually don't, but because I know where it's going to go. But if I did, I'm getting these this crappy Nautilus interface that I just don't like the way it looks. It just doesn't look right to me. Maybe that's the reason. One of the reasons why it starts. And I think this stuff is new from when KDE came in. Now, print applet, I probably don't need that. I need Pulse Audio to run, but I thought Pulse Audio started with system control or initd. The GNOME keyring only annoys me. I could probably get rid of that. I don't know. I have no idea what. Oh, Baloo is something that wants to index every file on your system, and I don't care to have everything indexed, but it's already done probably. I'm not using Evolution as my email, but if there is a reminder, there's a daemon that runs, it would pop up a reminder. What the heck is this? I think it's some driver. Physitics. System utility. Whatever. I'll look at these and decide whether I want to have them there or not. This apparently resets some volumes in my mixer. Maybe I don't want that. These things really ought to be and more rightfully be in a, well, there's a better argument for keeping the .autostart directory that Plasma got rid of. Actually, it's now more difficult to just autostart a program. You used to be able to just throw your icon in the autostart directory. Well, I still can, and it works. And I don't see the KDE3 is broken, so I see no need to abandon it. Even though it isn't maintained, so far nothing doesn't work here. And you could run apps that were made for other environments or newer environments still in this environment. So that's pretty much it. And I guess, here's my craft directory. So what I did is I made a directory called craft, and I moved that from there to here. It doesn't need to be part of the official solution. You can delete it. You can rename it. You can't rename it. If you rename it, it'll still run. So you actually have to take it out of that directory. It's just like an auto start folder. The same auto start folder I use to mount my network shares without having to embed it in file system tab, and then if one of the network shares gets disconnected, system control is going to bring me into emergency mode. Don't need that today, so I'll stick with scripting, and so and I don't want to have to mess around with passwords, so I already have a YouTube video on that anyway. But I have it so the password magically automatically passes to sudo. They're stored in the clear on my disk, but I'm not worried about it. It's a root password, whatever. Anyway, I'll look at the stuff later. So that's it. So apparently SUSE, even if you there were people that were talking about having to install LXFE or something, and I think if they do that, I think they still go through XGG. XGG is a good way to go. The problem is embedding these things in here. This affects everybody that logs in. So if someone has another user account, they're going to be affected by it too. So my solution there really isn't much of a solution. What you'd want in Unix or Unix-like system is a way to turn these things off. So, you know, if there was another user using this desk and they decided they were going to log in with a different username, they too will be deprived, I guess, if you want to call it that, of the Plasmashell desktop script. And then they try to log into KDE5, it won't work. So this is not typical Unix, the way this is going here, the way they have it up here, all these things. Some of these things, like, everybody wants pulse audio. What they forgot is not everybody wants to use KDE, and there's some people that were really complaining about this latest release of SUSE. Alright, that's all I have to say about this thing.